All right, cool. Well, we want to go ahead and start the way we start every Tuesday at 10 meeting. Want to see how everyone's doing in y'all's neck of the woods. Let's talk about some wins. Let's talk about some gratitude. Let's talk about some positivity. What do you guys got going? Positive stuff in y'all's business. Elizabeth, I know you just got back from vacation. How was that going? Armando, how's everything? We'll go ahead and start with Liz. Liz, tell us a little bit about your trip and some good stuff you have going on in your business.
So the last minute South Padre trip just happened out of my son's soccer friend invited us, and they said, "Hey, let's take the boys deep sea fishing." And I grew up on the water. I'm from close to Port Aransas, and so anytime you call me to go towards the water, I'm good. So we went, but I'd never gone deep sea fishing, and I'd taken that morning the motion sickness pill, but I think I should have taken double dose of it the day before. But it was beautiful out there. I was able to handle it. I was just a little bit dizzy. But it was really pretty, and it was a 2.5 ride out to the middle of the ocean, and then we caught our limit, like the whole boat. It wasn't just us. It was about 15 people maybe. And so everybody caught their limit within 20 minutes. I mean, so we had to turn right back around for another two and
Wow.
a half hours. It was super exciting. It was a great time. And we found a very last minute, very cool Airbnb down in Port Isabel. So it worked out. It just happened to fall into place. We didn't have that planned for, a long time or anything like that. So it was fun. Once school starts and soccer starts, we're pretty much tied down with that, with weekend soccer's, games and whatnot. So thankful to do this. What I do, I'm able to do both. I'm able to do most of the time. I can work around my son's schedule, but sometimes I can't, and they understand. And we have to also put our job first. And so, anyways, yeah, it was great. Couple of wins. We got past active option period on one of the homes that I'm helping buyers buy. Their first time home buyers. It's a situation where it's such emotional for first time buyers, when they're just not certain. And at first they were okay with some of the things that were wrong with the home, but then they would come back and say, well, we're not that okay with with the things that are wrong with the home. And as agents, we also have to help educate them because they don't know. They're doing this for the first time. So we have to help them know that their decision that they're making is a comfortable decision, but at the same time trying to find a level-headed mentality, along the way, and let them know, hey, okay, this home is over 30 years old. It's in a fantastic location. It's exactly where you want it. So, you have to balance out, what do I want to do? Do I want to do a DIY list, once I'm in the home and make it nice the way I like it? Or do I sacrifice and spend 2 more months looking for a home and time away from work and, all the things? So, you kind of just help them balance those thoughts out and let them decide. And they're happy. We're under contract. We close the 25th of August, and they can hardly handle the excitement. But there was a little bit along the way of, uh, you know, taking on the bigger projects on the home. And it's not major things wrong with the home. It's mainly aesthetics. It's nothing that's going to, no major roof or no major foundation or anything like that. And then on the flip side, another one of my deals kind of fell through because the seller did not want to cooperate with a roof that was over 15 years old, and it was highly likely, even after checking with insurance, homeowners insurance, it was not going to be insurable. So that buyer withdrew from that. They didn't want to take the chance, and it was going to be a problem. To close. So, but the buyer didn't want to hear it. Still on the market. I checked yesterday because sometimes I like to go back and circle back around because, sometimes we doubt ourselves, right? But, it's still back on the market, and, I think they'll struggle to sell that. And so it's another talking point for sellers when we're working with sellers, and let them know, if you have a roof that's over 15 years old, these are some challenges that might happen along the way. So, um, You know, they
Yeah,
don't want that sticker shock in the middle of the transaction. So I think it's a good talking point when there's a listing appointment. But I don't know. Every homeowner, takes things differently.
for sure. And I know you had called to talk about some of those issues that you were going through, and sometimes it works out, sometimes the buyers and or sellers change their mind. And that's okay. It's not our decision to make. So if it's something that they want to, live with that decision, then that's the case. But there is always fallout. I remember one of my first coaches said you have to factor in for fallout. There's always going to be fallout. So um, sounds like you have a lot of good stuff going on. So keep up the good work, and glad you're back. And sorry about the motion sickness. That would be my biggest reason for. I, I even get motion sickness going into the bay. Like if I were going into deep sea, forget it. I'd be like, just throw me overboard. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to do it. So I give you kudos for that. So you caught your
Yeah,
your limit in 20 minutes. That's awesome.
20 minutes.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So it was a lot of fun. It
That's
was it
awesome.
was. I'll do
Cool.
that again, I think, but I think I'll start the meds a day ahead of time.
Take the double Dramamine for sure.
Yes.
Cool. Armando, what's going on with you, man? How's everything going in Brownsville? What's the latest? Tell us a little bit about it.
Uh, Things are going pretty good. One of the properties, one of my listings that it's an older property. We finally got through all the appraisal hurdles. So we're looking hopefully closing this week.
Oh, great. Great. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's one of those like it's gonna take forever, but powered through it. Luckily, the buyer was patient, and so yeah, we're doing pretty good. Prepping for trying to work on the flyer for the open house on Saturday in San Benito.
Cool. Cool.
But yeah.
Awesome, man. Good to hear it. Daniel, what's going on with you? How's everything in San Antonio? What's the latest?
It's going well. A little under the weather right now, but trying to power through. But yeah, have some buyers getting approved right now. Waiting to hear back on their approval budget limit, and made some price cuts to some listings here in town. So hopefully that'll spark some interest in the market. As we know, it's kind of a stagnant market out there for listings, so we're just trying to get any type of movement. And talking about Fallout, Liz, I have a seller. It was a high-end property, and they wanna wait. They want to wait. We pulled it off, and but the hope is we'll put it back on and sell it eventually. So you just got to be there for your clients. It's not our decision to make, like Alan said. So. We're there to advise and give our opinions, but it's ultimately not our decision. So, but if you account for things like that, it doesn't sting so bad. You know that it's coming, and then it comes, and it's like, all right, well, let's go, let's keep going. But
Yeah.
yeah, things are aren't the greatest, but they're not the worst either. So that's all we can go with at the moment.
Well, what's funny is like I saw the earnings report that EXP put out about quarter two, and one of our mentors, we look up to him a lot, Chuck Fazio, made a comment and he said, "You don't really need to worry about the numbers when you see green arrows pointing up." You know what I mean? So I think that's the stance we really need to consider, because for a lot of agents out there and for a lot of companies and for a lot of brokers and a lot of broker owners, those arrows are down and they're red. So the fact that we have good momentum, the fact that we have things moving, deals in the pipeline, closing, I think that's a huge win. We've been in a market that has not recovered. Everyone was waiting. I remember, Daniel, I remember you and I went out to lunch, and this was, God, I don't know, maybe in 2023 or something like that. And the guy was talking about it. He was the owner of the restaurant, actually. And he said, I've just been reading about the market, and it just says survive to 25. And that was in 2025. And everyone's been trying to survive. And now it's 2026 and we're still trying to survive. We're waiting for that relief that was supposed to come. And it's just not, that's just not the world that we're in right now. The market is the market. We can't control it. And like Ricky Cruz says, the agents that make it through this, they're not in it for the money. They're in it for the grit, for the longevity. The agents that survive this market, he even says, agents that survive this market, you should be sending everyone you know to them because that means that they're fighters and that they're resilient. So it really is important.
And now it's just wait till 28.
Till 28. Yeah, I mean it's coming. We could hold out another 2 years. Wait to 28. I like that.
Don't say that, Daniel. That's too long.
No, I'm just kidding.
The songwriter within him is coming out.
Yeah.
Wait till 28.
And then the next one is decline in 29. Then we go down.
But what are we waiting for is
I
my
know.
question. Wait till 28 for what?
We're waiting for something good to happen.
The market
We're all
is
just
out
waiting, but we don't know what for.
For rates to maybe come down, for sellers to finally understand that it's not 2021 anymore. For buyers to not think that they're going to get everything and the kitchen sink and a new roof and a new foundation on a 50-year house. I mean, I don't know. We're waiting for something. I don't know what we're waiting for. And Josie, how are things going with you? What's the latest? How's everything?
No, things are good. Have some buyer clients in the McAllen area that they're really putting me through my paces. Very, very nice couple. However, they want to see every house on the market. So every showing day is kind of like 8 houses. So the good thing is I've seen a lot of these houses before, so I can kind of knock them out a little bit quicker, but it's good. As far as everything else, like on the TC side, I can confidently say that everything that everybody is experiencing is happening to everyone. I support a few agents on the TC side, and they are all experiencing the same. They're experiencing price decreases on listings. Some sellers have even decided to pull their listing. They didn't want to extend it. They went to a renter instead. So everybody's feeling the squeeze. So if you feel like, man, I'm just like in a stroke of bad luck or something, it's like we're all going to weather it together. Everybody's kind of going through it right now. And just like in life, everything ebbs and flows. So, we're riding this wave. I'm sorry, Liz, for the seasickness pun, but it just blows up and down. So we just got to ride the wave and get on the boat and have our Dramamine.
Yeah. And one of the things that Daniel posted a couple days ago, he was showing a property and he posted, and I think it's 100% true. These buyers are getting phenomenal deals right now. Phenomenal deals right now. On the listing side, I had a seller. He got a 38-page inspection report. And he says, Alan, I don't know what to do. I don't even live there anymore. I live out of state. What's the course of action? I said, well, let's try to see how much this is going to cost. And, the seller threw out a number for a concession. Buyer said, great, let's do it. You know what I mean? It's almost like the market evens itself out. You have sellers that want and need to sell. And on the flip side, these buyers are getting fantastic deals. So I think even if we use everything that's happening as an excuse to reach out to these buyers and say, hey, we're able to really negotiate, get your closing costs covered. Josie was working the TC and we saw Josie got the settlement statement for one of our VA buyers. Not only did he get his lease taken care of, he got closing costs, he got lender incentives, and he got money back at closing. I mean, it's like, in what kind of market are you going to get that? So, Armando, like you're talking about, if we get those rate drops, sayonara to all those buyer incentives because everyone's going to come out of the woodwork. We're going to have multiple offers. And what happens in that scenario? The prices go up. So
It's just always hard explaining that to a buyer because all they see are rates, 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 and they don't see the other side. Like, this is a great time to buy because you get, XYZ. You can ask for more as opposed to low rates, and you're actually paying more out of pocket for things. So it's like, do you want a lower rate? And then you're competing with other multiple buyers and paying more out of pocket? Or would you rather have a higher rate and we find more flexibility on how to lower that rate for you? But you're not competing with so many people, and we can ask for more items because some sellers really need to sell. So I think a lot of the times, because of the media, they just focus on rates, rates, rates. So people, buyers, sellers, consumers, clients, they don't know any better. So we really have to be on it to explain that to them.
Yeah, like the buyers that I'm working with right now, we've been looking for a little while, and like I said, they found right in their little their golden gem area. Like they really wanted to be in the subdivision, and so the price had already been reduced, but even after it was reduced, we negotiated and got the home for $10,000 under what they had it listed at that moment. And on top of that, $17,000 in seller concessions. It was almost maxed out. And still, husband was like, well, but it's an old stove. And I said, John, a good gas stove is about $700. Don't let a deal fall over, for that. I'll get you the stove. Don't worry.
there you go.
So, but they're super nice, just like, Josie, they're just incredible to work with. They're real nice about it, and they did want to see a lot of homes. But you can, a lot of times we can tell them kind of what to expect, but until they physically go through the motions, and it takes time and work time and gas and all the things, and they're like, oh, I should have just, did this, right? But anyways, so it is an incredible time for buyers right now. There is room for negotiations, but at the end, there's still some sellers that they're willing to wait, like Daniel said as well. So we ran into that too. But it is a good, definitely a good time for buyers right now.
Yeah, so here's something to keep in mind. And it's a conversation that is a hard conversation to have, but like John Sy says, we're paid to have the hard conversations. And that's where our value comes in. But a conversation that I'm going to be having with some sellers is they're contemplating pulling the house off the market while some construction around their immediate house is supposed to be underway and they're breaking ground and another multifamily is being built currently. So they're ready to pull the house off the market for 10 to 12 months, waiting for this construction, which they feel is going to improve the value. But the question is, what's the holding costs? What are the holding costs? If you're looking at a $3,000 a month mortgage, if you're waiting 12 months, what's 3,000 times 12? 3,000 times 10 is $30,000. So even if you're looking at a property increase in value of 30,000, maybe they can get 30 or 40,000. What's the cost? They paid an extra 30,000 in mortgage payments. So it's a hard conversation. I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of studying on sales psychology, and if you can ask those questions and have your consumers answer them for you, a lot of times that makes it easier because no one really wants to be talked to, no one wants to be directed. But if you can help them make that decision, so in essence, it's like, if you pose that question, well, what does your monthly mortgage payment look like? And then they answer the question. So, okay, and we're talking about waiting 12 months. So what would your holding costs be? So, well, that's going to be whatever it is, 36,000. Hey, Anthony, how are you? $36,000 in holding costs. So, okay, well, if we're looking at an increase in value. We're looking at the time value of money. We're looking at an increase of 36,000. Do you think the value of your property is going to increase that amount? We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. Nobody has a crystal ball. But when you start posing questions like that, it's like, oh my gosh, it's going to cost $36,000 to find out. And is that income disposable? Is it being paid for? Is the property going to be rented? Is it going to be sitting vacant? Because we all know when a property sits vacant, things go wrong. You have a property that sits for that long, the AC is running for another year. Who knows what's going to happen with weather? You have, who knows? Anything can happen. So you just really have to pose those questions and try to get the people to answer to try to move the needle. Hey, Anthony, how are you, man? Glad you were able to tune in. We're just doing updates and check ins, talking about some wins. How's everything going in your neck of the woods, man? What's some good stuff happening?
Everything's going good, man. Sorry I'm late. I had a call.
You're good. You're good.
Dealing with some kind of rough deals. Probably one of the roughest ones I've ever had to go through since I've been doing it, and it's something we're supposed to close on like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and something came up in underwriting, and it's been crazy.
I hear. Yeah, we were talking about some crazy deals we have going on. Some sellers that are having mixed thoughts. Some buyers that are putting us through our paces. So I think you're in good company, man. We're all doing the same thing. We're all going through the same struggles. But I'm sure y'all will weather the storm. Is it something that can be fixed? Is the underwriting still an issue, or are they able to get it fixed, or what do you think?
Well, today's the last day for us to get that CTC.
Oh,
If we don't get it today, we've already put in, well, not we, the buyers put in extra money, earnest money. So we're like 7,000 in. And if we don't get it today, the seller's not going to extend again.
oh man.
So it's like it's a nail biter.
Yeah. Well, hoping for good news for you, man. Hope we'll keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully y'all can get where you need to get. And you never know, man. Sometimes sellers like to posture.
Yeah.
And they say, we're not going to extend. And you say, well, hopefully the lender can give you some good news. And maybe they'll say, well, we only need another week, another 7 days, another 14 days, maybe. And then sometimes those sellers' tune changes pretty quick because they need to sell it too.
Hey,
So,
Anthony, how's it going, man? Good to
What's
see
up?
you. Hey, just a quick tidbit, and you may already be doing this, but if you're not, I found that it really helps. Anything with lenders or deadlines or the lenders needing more time, I let the lender talk to the listing agent all day long.
Yeah, no, for sure. I put them in contact.
Okay, so you're already doing that. I just wanted to make sure because, for some reason when they're talking to a middleman like an agent, it's not going to hit home as if they're talking to the lender
No, for
direct.
sure. And the I guess the thing about it is too is that the agent's like, I don't need to talk to the lender. That's your buyer. I need to talk to you. And I'm just like, oh, okay, well,
well, here's the other thing, and I'm sure Daniel will point this out. Sometimes the play is to get the lender to talk to the seller directly, not to the listing agent. Put the lender on the phone with the seller.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because everything goes through all these filters. And of course, a listing agent doesn't want to talk to a lender, but the seller might. You know what I mean? Because the seller is the one with something to gain and or something to lose,
yeah,
right? The agent might lose a commission, but the seller is now, stuck relisting the house or pulling it off or finding a renter or doing whatever. So, I know Daniel doesn't hesitate, neither do I. I put the lender in touch with the seller.
yeah, no, for sure. Try to remedy it any way possible. And it's kind of on the buyer this situation because they didn't disclose everything.
Right.
So at the very end, that's when something came up with the underwriting that there was a credit card that was made in somebody else's name, but the other person's paying it, and it's been a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of lender partners, and they all tell us the same thing. They say we can help pretty much any situation as long as we know about it. You know what I mean? It's the stuff that comes up at the 11th hour, doing the final credit checks or doing the final verification of employments or whatever. And the stuff that comes up out of left field, that's what really it can really throw things for a curveball.
Yeah, and I think what makes it just not worse, but just a little more difficult for me is that all this, excuse me, all these are it's a referral from Florida, so they're lenders from Florida, but they're able to they can lend here in Texas. So like I have no relationship with that lender at all.
I see. Yeah.
So he gets a little how should I say, he gets wound up pretty tight when I start asking questions. And I'm like, hey, dude, I'm just asking questions, and he just takes it out on me. And I'm just like, come on, man, let's just get this done.
Yeah. And Anthony, I know I've had conversations with you about this, but this goes back to the importance of, and I know this is a hard conversation too, but it's the importance of having your team behind you. You know what I mean? When you have a lender, they're out of state. Josie and I just, we just finished one. We closed one dealing with a federal credit union. God, it was the worst.
Yeah.
It was the worst. And their offices were in Corpus. So at least they were in Texas.
Yeah.
But it's not like I could even go over there and, make a scene, because that's what we wanted to do. It was like, what do
It was
you
the
mean
worst
this stuff is
experience
coming?
ever.
It was horrible. So, I know buyers have their lenders that they want to work with and that's fine. It's their prerogative. But, maybe we can all put our heads together and put together some kind of a resource to say it really helps when we work with people that we can access, people that are local, people that have our back, we have their back, we're all working together to get to the same goal. Obviously we're not trying to direct anybody or tell them what to do, but there is value in working with someone that you've worked with before, someone that's local, someone that you can reach out and touch them if you need to, or at
Yeah.
least call them, go to their office. They're going to take your call. They work weekends, they work evenings, all that other kind of stuff. Because when that doesn't happen, it can really make things hard.
Yep. I
For-
agree 100%.
For sure. For sure. Well, cool. Well, just real quick, I just want to go through a real quick training session. And this is more for new agents, but I kind of want you guys to take it into account because it really opened my eyes. Are you guys familiar with Alex Hormozy? Do y'all follow Hormozy and all of his training and sales training? Have y'all heard of him?
I've heard the name, but I've never.
Oh man, well, I know Josie has because I'm a big fan, and I love his strategy, his blueprints, his demeanor, everything in business with him. He's a real straight shooter. So I really enjoy watching his content and learning from him. But what I want to do is I just want to go through this. Who in here is used to working 8-hour days, 10-hour days, 12-hour days, 14-hour days? Do y'all put in long hours? We all put in long hours. How many of you guys know agents? They say, well, I only want to work 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day. Hey, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But in this training, Alex Hormozy puts everything into perspective, and I wanted to share what his thoughts are. So let me go ahead and share my screen. That way y'all can see this. And I think y'all will think this is not only interesting, but I think you can apply it to your business. If you have agent friends of yours, share this with them. I'll share the slide deck in the comments as soon as we're done with the meeting. But this is the daily operating system for early stage founders. And there are so many agents out there that I run into all the time, especially new agents. And they're looking for something to help kickstart their business. And they're looking for what's missing. What am I missing in my business? What is my number one battle that I need to overcome? And once Hormozy kind of went through this and I was able to see it, I couldn't agree with him more. So the daily operating system for early stage founders, this is based on a 12-hour day and it's 3 blocks of 4 hours each. And he says this is what he does anytime you're in the beginning stages. Stage 1 is overcoming the biggest hurdle that any agent has. And we battle with this every single day, even when we're established agents. The number one battle is the battle against irrelevance. So in the beginning, you're fighting tooth and nail just to be known. That's the number one thing. You have to be known as the expert in your field. Now, the hardest thing for me getting into real estate was a lot of people knew me, but nobody knew me as a realtor. They knew me as a music guy, they knew me as a performer and stuff like that. So my biggest challenge was introducing myself as Alan the realtor. So a lot of agents are blaming their market, they're blaming the product, they're blaming rates, they're blaming everything, but it's the lack of market awareness that's the hugest, biggest problem for them. No one knows you exist, and that's the issue. Now, we always have to be adding people to our funnel, adding people to our database, adding people online, adding people to our socials. So every day, it's a game of making yourself known and making yourself relevant. So the antidote here's the 3-part architecture. If you're starting out, it's 3 chunks, 4-hour chunks. Your first 4 hours are to promote. That's the orange. The blue is you build, and the green is you deliver. Whatever it is, whatever business, this is for any kind of sales. Whatever you're promoting, whatever you're building, whatever you're delivering. If the bottom block is missing, the entire structure goes down. So here's the first block, hours 0 through 4, destroying the obscurity wall, promoting your business. Now, of course, we're all aware we don't want to be the person online saying, I'm a realtor, call me, I'm a realtor, call me, I'm a realtor, call me. It has to be more than that. You have to be personal. You have to put yourself out there, be a little vulnerable, tell your story. I saw a quote the other day and it said, people don't buy brands, they buy the brand's story. They buy people's story. They want to work with you because of who you are and that there's some commonality there. So you want to try to find, I even saw Ryan Serhant was talking about the ICP, the ideal customer profile. So you want to appeal to your ideal customer and you have to let people know who you are to attract that. So you can't build for an audience that doesn't know you exist. How many of you guys, I have this conversation, they say, I feel like nobody's responding. My question to these agents is, well, how many people are you getting the message out to? How many friends online? How big is your database? How big is your list? I was reading a training talking about attraction, and the guy said, I've been doing this for 2 years. I've only attracted 1 agent. His business coach was saying, well, how big is your list? He said, well, my list is 12 people. I said, okay, that's your problem. You need a bigger list. So getting over the irrelevance wall, hours 0 through 4. Then you go hours 4 through 8, creating the capacity to capture demand. That's building your business. That's working on your business. Not only working on your business, but in your business. Once you have the attention, you have to construct the vehicle that will deliver value to the market. So if that's content, if that's, whatever it may be, to build that attention, that's what you work on in the next block. And then you have hours 8 through 12, fulfilling your promise. Then you have to go deliver. So for us, that might be showing the properties, going on the listing appointments, entirely executing on the expectations you set during your promotion block. And here's the 12-hour loop. It's a flywheel to destroy irrelevance. You have your promoting, your building, and your delivery. So here's the velocity trade-off. For the agents that say, well, I don't have that kind of time, or I only want to work a certain amount of time. Alex says, hey, that's cool. If you see right here at the top, he said, that's 12 hours a day, Alex. He says, yeah, it is. But the question is, how fast do you want to get there? So you can go the 4 hour day, which is slow, the 8 hour day average, or the accelerator, which is a 12 hour day. Sometimes I have to peel myself away just to go eat. Right, Josie? Josie's like, hey, are we gonna eat dinner tonight? And it's like I'm in the middle of something, it's like I'm hungry, but I'm focused. And it's that extreme focus. So like Hormozy says, sure, you can always do less and take longer to get to your goals. That's up to you. But this is his recommendation, which I think is really cool. Your only job is to ensure the market knows you exist. 4 hours to promote, 4 hours to build, 4 hours to deliver. The speed of your success dictated by the density of your days. So I thought this was really cool. I liked the framework. I hosted a Kickstart training for 2 new agents in San Antonio last week, and we were talking about the importance of getting your message out there, the importance of promoting yourself. You can't be a secret agent because that's the number one issue. It's not the market, it's not rates. It's getting your name out there. What do y'all think? Do y'all agree or any conversation? Y'all disagree? What do y'all think? Y'all like it? Not like it? Should we be working 18-hour days? I don't know. What do y'all think? 24/7?
Might as well.
Right? Yeah, it kind of is 24/7.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff. That's pretty good to implement.
Yeah, so do yourselves a favor. Look up Alex Hormozy. What I love about him is he's super intense, but he's intense but calm at the same time. And if you notice, every time you see him, he's wearing his company apparel. Whether it could be a tank top, it could be a hat, it could be a t-shirt, it could be whatever. And he's the founder of a company called acquisitions.com. So every time you see him, he's wearing and he's a real, strong dude. He's wearing a tank top, acquisitions.com, and he wears a hat, acquisitions.com. And people question him all the time. So why do you always wear shirts and clothing that has your business name on it? He says, because it's marketing. He said, if I'm going to be wearing clothing, I might as well be promoting. And it's real funny because he's like, I don't understand why more people don't wear the name of their business on their shirt and on their hat every single day. He's like, I don't understand why more people aren't doing it. So it's real funny. He'll be like at a corporate event wearing a tank top that says acquisitions.com. And he's been the CEO of a lot of different companies. And every company he was the CEO of, his clothing would reflect it. So he's gone through a few different companies, but check him out. His YouTube channel is fantastic. He's a very highly sought after business coach, and y'all will enjoy it. Cool. Anything else to add, guys? What do y'all think?
Hey, I was gonna say I want to do some type of marketing based off of do you remember these bad boys?
Dude, that's the old school. That's the first tuner ever.
That everybody is required to buy when you're entering the music biz.
That's true.
I don't know. I want to like put it on like my flyer or something.
I love it, man.
I'm reliable just like a cork tuner.
That's right.
Throw it around and I'm still around.
That's right. Well, I had one of those super high tech rack mount tuners. I used to like to use the little plug-in tuner because it was a lot more accurate. The rack tuner, I could never get it to. I was like, just get in the green, man. Just get it. And it was like you're a millisecond off or a millitone off, or it's like, dude, I don't need all that crap. Just give me that. I'm gonna plug it into that one. Put a AA battery in there. It's good to go. Don't need to plug it in. Nothing. So
I
you
want to
should.
say
I
I've
like
had
it.
it for like 20 years.
Yeah, and it still works, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you can use the microphone, so you don't even need to plug your guitar in. Put your acoustic, turn the microphone on, tune it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Armando, I still think you need to post that video, man. The drums and the tacos video.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
I
Post
have it
it.
now, so no excuses.
I know. You got it, man. You put it out there. Put it out there. We'll share it, man. I love that video. I think it came out great.
Thank you, man.
So that's another tidbit of advice. If you have the content, send it, post it. Sometimes I have to psych myself out. Even Josie made a cool video. I was like, "Are you gonna post it?" She said, "I don't know." I say, "You better post it. It's good." So put it out there to your audience, and it's always the content you never think is gonna do anything, and that's the one that gets the most engagement out of anything you've done. You do a super high end, nice piece of content, no one sees it, and then you do something funny and people love it. So put it out there and send it. Good stuff.
What is the Formula One driver Daniel Ricciardo always say? Lick a stamp and send it.
Send it. Send it. Just put it out there. We see a lot of stuff, people posting about God knows what. Just put it out there. Put it out there and let it fly. You never know who it's going to have an impact with and who it might help get off the fence. Maybe they'll reach out to you, or maybe they'll it's just like me, guys. I'm over here talking about Alex Hormozy. Y'all don't know who he is. I feel like I know him personally because I follow him. I watch his stuff. I love to see the updates. So that's the dream, to get to a point to where someone can meet you and they feel like they know you, even though they've never actually met you. So put it out there, get your message out there, be genuine, be authentic, and have fun.
It's like, what's the worst that can happen? They block you, and if they did you a favor.
Yeah, then
they
they're not
subscribed from your mailer.
That's not your person to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
We were at Lunch and Learn in San Antonio, and a gentleman came up to Josie and I and said, "I love that video you did with the avocados." I was like, and I had to think to myself, I was like, "What video was it?" And all it was a video of Josie and I looking at avocados at HEB.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah. And he was like, "I
Yeah.
love the avocado video." I was like, "Whoa, what video was that?" But stuff like that, it lands with people. So, and then there was another lady that came to the luncheon, and she said, I recognize you from the video." I was like, "Oh, that, like, to me, that's the best compliment, because that means the content landed with someone that I would have never met in my life, and they remember it, they recognize me, and it makes them feel comfortable. It really breaks down the barrier. So, like, I talk to Josie all the time, and it's like these YouTubers. I like to follow these watch guys in New York City, and they all sell, fancy watches and stuff on 47th Street in the gray market in New York City. And Josie and I want to go to New York City just to look at the watches. I mean, they got real nice stuff, old stuff, new stuff, whatever, from all the different brands. And I said, "Man, if I ran into this guy, it would be like a celebrity sighting." I've watched a lot of his content, and the guy's name is Yasha. And it's like, man, if I saw Yasha, I'd probably want his autograph. He's just a regular guy. He's a watch salesman, but I like his message. I like his delivery. I like his content. So all that stuff goes a long, long way. I would have never known about 47th Street. Have y'all ever heard of 47th Street in New York City? They sell jewelry, diamonds, watches, gold, silver, all that other kind of stuff. And it's all just it's like a flea market of luxury stuff. And the funny thing is they all sell to each other. The dealers sell to each other, and they're trying to get good deals so they can turn around and sell them. But a lot of the selling they do is back and forth to each other. They'll buy it off the street and they'll sell it to another dealer. So anyway, I would have never known it existed, but I start following these guys and I enjoy their stuff. So that's the goal. Cool. Anything else to add in closing?
Nothing much.
Wishing
appreciate
everyone
you
a great
guys.
week. Wishing everyone a great week, guys.
Yeah, y'all have a great week. Go out and sell something, have some fun, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank y'all for tuning in, y'all.
You got it. Bye, guys.
All right, take care.